Welcome back! Last time we finished clearing out the Pyrite Cave, and now it's time to take on its master. It is finally time to confront Mirror B himself, and end his reign of disco terror over this town. That's a very weird sentence, but, well, weird sums up Mirror B pretty well. So, through here and into that big cave is gonna be where Mirror B is. So obviously, don't enter this area unless you're prepared for a fight. You do get fair warning though once you enter here. That music is a telltale sign. So you do have some time to go back and prepare now. You're not locked in the moment you open this door. But you probably know why, also there he is dancing. You probably know why a lot of people in this dungeon use Lotads and Lombres now. This place is full of Ludicolos. And if we see here, they're all saying a variant on their Japanese name, Lunpapa or Runpapa. I'm not really sure how it's meant to be. But anyway, if we check this door on the back here, there's an iron file there, but we got a brief glimpse of Plusle. But going back there is a no-no, so no rescuing Plusle until we've confronted the Disco Man himself. This is still an absolute sight to behold. He's asking the music to stop? That's shock horror from him. Yes, this is actually his battle theme. So, this is more of a joke boss than anything else, but don't underestimate it. So, as you can see, he's got 5 Pokemon, and a lot of them are Ludicolos. He's leading with 2 of them, and we'll see what abilities they have once he starts actually using his moves. But for now, it's a good thing to have a Water Absorb, or Mantine actually works well in this fight regardless of what ability it has, because they like to use Rain Dance. I'm going to go for the debilitating effect of Confuse Ray first. And, yeah, just appreciate this music. His theme in XD was much better and actually fit his aesthetic a lot more. It's kind of weird how he has almost, like, I don't know. I'm trying to describe this music, but it's definitely not disco. But yeah, he likes to use Rain Dance, and Ludicolo has 2 abilities, both of which benefit from the rain. And, yeah, that's one of them, Rain Dish, which, for some reason, when I was first playing Gen 3, I misread that ability as Rash Dash. I really don't know why. But Rain Dish heals you slightly while you're in the rain. These ones just like to Astonish you, and barely do any damage, because Astonish is a terrible move. But, yeah, there are 2 abilities here on Ludicolo, Rain Dish and Swift Swim. Now, I'll see if... oh, this one actually is doing this. So the trainers in Colosseum do actually have some fairly competent strategies to them. This one is abusing the Leech Seed and, which actually looks pretty terrifying in this generation. The Leech Seed and Rain Dish combo to heal a lot. Okay, now I think the level 29 Ludicolo didn't heal from Rain Dish, which would mean that it has Swift Swim and is going to be going first the vast majority of the time here. And I ended up switching out Umbreon. I probably should have tried to confuse the other one, but okay. Don't think Noctowl has Fly yet, so this might not be, Once again, the AI is completely dumb when it comes to Water Absorb. We should make a Water Absorb counter. Ah, you are using the classic annoying Ludicolo moveset. So this is one that actually some people used in the early days of Gen 3 competitive as well. I mean, I don't think it's really the best overall competitive moveset, but it is really, really irritating. Leech Seed, Rain Dish for massive amounts of healing, Dive to stall out turns, so that you can basically only attack it every other turn. The only move that hits a Pokemon while they're underwater is Surf, and Ludicolo double resists that anyway, so it's not really going to be doing very much damage. Wow, the AI is really dumb when it comes to moves not affecting things. Yeah, that thing's underwater. Hey, if you hit yourself... Oh. Also remember that Dive is special in this gem. And it's going to get buffed by Rain Dance. So definitely don't underestimate this fight. But Mantine pretty much walls anything he can do, except probably Leech Seed. Which means it's a good thing that Mantine hasn't been Leech Seeded yet. What do I end up doing here? Kinda wish that Noctowl had Fly. Noctowl would be a lot more useful here if it had Fly. Okay, nice crit there. But, I don't think that's the really annoying Ludicolo, so that's the one that I want to get rid of as fast as possible. Okay, thankfully, though, that one's gone to sleep. Unfortunately, it's still going to be healing with Leech Seed. Actually, wait, it won't be, because I switched out Umbreon, so no more Leech Seed. And the rain has stopped. He's probably going to try and set that back up again. But now there's no more rain, that Ludicolo is not getting Swift Swim, so I might be able to take it out quickly. I think Ludicolo is something in the vicinity of around the base 70s in terms of speed, so not incredibly fast. Going for the old Hyper mode Shadow Rush combo here, which is probably the best way to take out these Ludicolos because Ludicolo is actually kind of bulky. Anyway, there goes one of the Ludicolos. What's he going to replace it with? Another Ludicolo, of course! This one is in between the levels of the other two. And it's not even getting Rain Dish because they didn't get to set the rain back up again. But let's see what Ludicolo number 3 does. Actually, I decided to double target this one because it's just that annoying. I want it gone before it can set up the Dive, Leech Seed, Rain Dish combo again. That is just... My first exposure to, like, just the basics of competitive battling was an article that Cerebi used to have, which it no longer does, I'm pretty sure, that talked about basic roles, and they mentioned things like sweepers, tanks, but also annoyers. And a prime example listed as an annoyer was this particular Ludicolo moveset. And the rain is back up. Don't know if this is Ludicolo number 4, I believe. Don't know if this one has Rain Dish or Swift Swim. But yeah, 2 more Ludicolos to go. Because Mirror B has a 5th Pokemon, and as you might be able to guess, it's different from the others. Razor Leaf. Okay, then. It's going to be hitting both of us, so it's not going to be doing very much damage, and Knockdown's still out, so that's going to be resisted. I still wish that I'd purified Knockdown to the point where I had Fly, because Fly is definitely... I've said it before, but very effective in this fight. Though, critical hits from Shadow Rush are pretty good. Guess I'm turning the tables, using Mirror B's own, In fact, I'm using... Oh, I just realized it. I'm actually using Mirror B's own Minions Pokemon against him. Probably should have brought Makuhita to this, although Makuhita would be pretty bad here, since all of these things resist, all of them resist fighting. That was a lot of hits from Fury Swipes. Now, let's see. Does any of you have... Okay, you have Rain Dish. I'm going to go out on a limb and say half of them have Rain Dish, half of them have Swift Swim. But both abilities benefit from the rain. And at this point in the game, I don't think it's possible to have weather moves of your own, because the vast majority of weather moves that you can get in this game, they... just suddenly had a brainstorm that I could talk about, but I'll talk about that after I finish this. They come from replacing Shadow Rush, and we can't do that yet. But the brainstorm, I just realized something. Umbreon's Taunt might actually really help in this battle. It shuts off Rain Dance, it shuts off Leech Seed, but here's something new. That's not a Ludicolo, and we might remember from the opening movie there was a Shadow Sudowoodo in this game, but this is it. So Mirror B has a dancing tree. Back when I first played this game, I always pictured this Sudowoodo just dancing along with Mirror B and the Ludicolos, doing its own disco moves. I can really see that happening. But anyway, let's try and catch this dancing tree. Well, dancing deluded rock that thinks it's a tree. I was about to say that did quite a lot of damage, but then I realized that Ludicolo's lower level than the rest. Okay, putting this tree to... I keep pulling the tree, but that's exactly what it wants. Yeah, you're definitely a tree Sudowoodo. But yeah, putting it to sleep is probably good because it has Rock Slide in its full moveset, which obviously Mirror B has access to because AI opponents are cheating in this game. And that's going to be really bad for both my Pokemon, so I want to shut off Rock Slide as soon as I can. Sudowoodo has a massive defense stat, pretty bad special defense. It's basically your typical rock type, so you probably want to use physical moves to weaken it, not special. And normal moves are good for being not very effective. So, I've taken out all of his Ludicolo. Now all that's left is his Shadow Sudowoodo, which back when I was younger I used to call Sudowoodo, because I didn't notice the U, I guess, or actually like the other O. I actually used Sudowoodo on my main team back when I first played Pokemon Gold and Silver. Well, just Gold, really, but yeah. I used it on my main team. It was actually pretty effective. Though I remember it didn't learn Rock Slide for ages. Now, I really should be switching out here because I don't want either of these two to take a Rock Slide. Of course, that's if this thing wakes up. Okay, still asleep. Come on past me. Please switch out. I really want you to switch out because otherwise, you're not going to switch out, are you? You're not going to switch out. And there's Takedown being its amazing, useful self, as always. Yeah, Takedown is a pretty bad move in general, although it is scary in Gen 5 just because Lillipup and Herdia learned that really early. And for that point in the game, this is exactly what I was warning you about past me, but I guess you couldn't listen. That's going to be a double KO, isn't it? But yeah, Lillipup in Gen 5 just hits incredibly hard with that because it's very strong for early in the game. This is why I should have switched out. Now I've lost my main sleep user, except I have another sleep user, which is good. If I was past me at this point, I'd be sending in Umbreon. And I did, good, okay. Okay, so let's re-sleep this thing with Skiploom, although Skiploom is also weak to Rock Slide, though I doubt this Sudowoodo is going to be outspeeding it. Also, yeah, this is a level 35 Shadow Pokemon, so the highest level we've seen so far. Secret Power might be pretty nice. This is a cave, I think. So, I think in the GBA games, the effect that Secret Power has in the cave is a chance to flinch, and it looks like Shadow Ball. But I could be wrong about either of those. I don't think I'm wrong about it looking like Shadow Ball, but in this game it always looks the same. But yeah, in Pyrite Cave, the same rules may not apply. Because, yeah, Phoenix City of all places had lowered accuracy as its effect. And you don't want to bother with regular Pokeballs against this. You want to be using Great Balls or the 3 Ultra Balls you found, though those 3 Ultra Balls are probably better saved for another Pokemon that we'll be seeing later on. But, I mean, this is our first quote-unquote boss Shadow Pokemon, so we should be going all out here. 1. I thought I wouldn't catch it on the first ball. I also love how the sleep animation is still there even before the Pokemon appears. I guess the longer it takes to snag the Sudowoodo, the longer you get to hear this music, which is pretty good. Again, I like Mirror B's XD theme a lot better than this. Well, let's see if second time's the charm. Come on, Sudowoodo. 1, 2, 3. Oh, almost. That would have been amazing if I got it in 2 balls. I guess we have to continue weakening it. This will be a running theme for the boss Shadow Pokemon. This Sudowoodo is actually one of the easier ones to catch, and I'm going to have to re-sleep it, is what I was trying to say there. I also love Sudowoodo's Shadow Rush animation, the way that it just runs up like that. I'm not really sure just what, if anything, inspired Sudowoodo. It's a really bizarre Pokemon. So I guess it fits someone like Mirror B. Like a rock that acts like a tree and looks like that and blocks your path despite being really tiny and thin. Okay, it's down to the yellow range. If I keep this up, I should hopefully catch it fairly soon. Now, I am actually feeling like dancing along with this music. It tends to do that. The funkiness is infectious! One, 2, 3... Dancing Sudowoodo get! Sudowoodo, as much as it likes to act like a grass type, is in fact your very typical rock type in terms of stat distribution. Very high attack and defense, terrible speed, bad special attack and special defense, and okay HP, I guess. It's a slow physical tank, basically. Of its two abilities, Rock Head is probably preferred, especially since it will be preventing recoil from Shadow Rush. Anyway, Sudowoodo, being a boss Shadow Pokemon, has a very big heart gauge, but it does compensate by starting at a fairly high level. It also has some pretty decent moves on its starting moveset. The main one you want here is Rock Slide. Hits both opponents, probably won't be flinching much due to your low speed, but it's pretty strong. Low Kick is also a decent option. In this generation, it calculates damage based on the weight of the target, and many things weak to it tend to be very heavy. Block and Flail are probably less useful. The only really notable level up move is Double Edge, and that's mainly if you have Rock Head, because then it becomes a 120 power normal type move with no drawbacks. As far as TMs go, you've got things like Earthquake and Brick Break, as well as Focus Punch if you can find the opportunity to not get hit when using it. And Taunt might be a support option to consider, seeing as not many Pokemon learn it in this game. Sudowoodo also comes with a Hard Stone to boost the power of Rock Slide even further. There's really not that much else I can say here. Sudowoodo is just a slow physical tank. That's really all there is to it. And with that, Mirror B has been defeated! And his defeat quote is as silly as you'd expect. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's good. That's more money than I thought. And more money than I've been receiving so far. I love how all of his Ludicolors are actually with him. And he has the exact same number of them that he used in the fight. Yeah, one of these days. This is obviously not the last we'll be seeing of Mirror B. And that is to the much rejoicing of many fans. Oh, wait, we forgot Plusle! Yeah, we briefly saw Plusle earlier, so let's... And that wasn't there before. What the heck is that? TM49. I think that's Thief? Let me see. Snatch. Close enough. But, yeah, fitting that a criminal would leave that behind when he's running away. And that's basically what he did to Plusle. I'm also sorry, Plusle, but for the time being... it's being tortured by spotlights. For the time being, I'm going to take this Iron File. Purification of Pokemon. Why would you be researching that, though? Oh, for obvious reasons, so that you can create Shadow Pokemon that never revert back. And let's say that maybe in a few years you might succeed with that, but for now, not. Macho... Okay, that's an interesting item. That doubles all of the effort points that a Pokemon gains in battle, but it halves their speed. Now, in a game like this, EV training is not really all that viable, so it's not that effective. But there are some areas... Well, I won't say that because... That actually looks kind of nice, but... Yeah. I won't say that because that's kind of spoiling something that will be showing up later. I'll talk about that later. So, Mirror B has been driven out, Plusle is saved, all's well that ends well, right? G-King is certainly happy, he can go back to running this town. And we get taken right out of the caverns, which is good because those places are confusing as heck. You know, now that I think about it, that could have possibly happened, and that would be terrifying. Wow, Plusle is really happy, jumping all over the place. But... we've got a request. Plusle actually wants to help us too. So we're actually going to have a rare instance of getting a non-Shadow Pokemon in this game, other than our starters. So we have a cute and brave addition to our... I love how it walks up like that. And jumps into our chest. Yeah, we're now carrying Plusle in our coat at this point. Hey, we're getting a trainer's number. It's suddenly Johto. Hopefully G-King won't call us to talk about his Rattata all the time. Okay, so that's good information to know. A place called The Under. Didn't we see an elevator in Mirror B's hideout? Well, that couldn't possibly lead down to that other town underneath this one, right? Yeah, well, seeing as that elevator was locked before, but let's see what these kids have to say. Well, actually, you might be able to. It's the kids' grid. Okay, so everyone's going to make something called the kids' grid. But yeah, seeing as Mirror B is going to be terrorizing the Ore region for quite a while. So that's Sek. Guess the one who's trying to establish the kids grid. And yeah, kids these days... I guess this game came out at a time when the whole age of networking thing was a pretty novel concept, and the idea of kids being that internet savvy was not all that common, although these days it's pretty much the norm. Now, if we go around here, and I think I entered the wrong building again, I think I was looking for the police station. Maybe I should have checked the news to see if there was anything on about the defeat of Mirror B. Although, surprisingly, there's very little fanfare for you actually beating Mirror B, other than just talking to King there. Kind of feel like there should have been a big celebration in the town that you got to see. But anyway, this guy is doing the exact same thing that he did before, and that's all. Oh yeah, he totally ran out of fear of you. Yeah, you're the one he's scared of. Well, we know that from the cutscene that we saw with our psychic plot powers. But for now, we can check out both Plusle and that Sudowoodo. So, here's Sudowoodo. Ah, great, my one has Sturdy. Sturdy is not that good in Gen 3. Not good at all. But the main one that I want to check out here is Plusle. So I'll give Plusle's bio now. Plusle, a rare instance of a non-shadow Pokemon obtainable in this game, and one of only 4, I believe. 2 of them are your starters. Now, Plusle has 2 pretty significant drawbacks. The first is that it starts out at a pathetic level 13. The second is that its ability is pointless since you never get a minor in this game. It would have been so much better if you did get one, but alas, you don't. Thanks to those 2 drawbacks, I'd originally planned to dismiss Plusle as a terrible Pokemon you should never use. But, making this bio, I actually realized it does have a few merits. Firstly, its stats aren't actually that bad, especially for this point in the game. 95 base speed is nice, and 85 base special attack is alright for, like I said, this point in the game. It also learns a lot of really good moves. It starts out with Helping Hand, and it later gets another fantastic support option in Baton Pass. You want to run this with Agility or something though. For other support options, you've also got Encore, which is actually a pretty good option in this game, seeing how many trainers rely around gimmicks involving non-attacking moves. If you use Encore, the target is locked into using their last move for several turns. Locking something into a non-attacking move can quite easily shut them down. If you want to go the offense route, Plusle learns pretty much every electric-type move you'd ever want, along with Fake Tears to act as kind of a pseudo-nasty plot. It also gets Thunder Wave to paralyze things, and potentially Rain Dance too, though I'd recommend partnering Plusle with a water type that has Rain Dance on its starting moveset already. Now, given that Plusle was received from King, it actually does count as a traded Pokemon, and it's one of the few ways you get access to a traded Pokemon in this game. This means Plusle will gain experience at an increased rate, which helps it catch up in levels, though its low start is definitely a hindrance. So once you get the experience share, Plusle might not actually be a terrible option to use. Looking over its move pool, it's actually not as terrible as I thought it was. If you have the patience to train it, that is. Adamant Nature is really not that good at all. But I guess you have to live with it. Okay, so Meditite is getting there. The main thing that I want to pay attention to is Meditite getting High Jump Kick, because that's going to be amazing. That's when the real fun begins. Okay, Skiploom is pretty much fully purified. Mantine is, are you ready? No, you're just off. And I should probably be using Knockout a little bit. I guess you're close enough that I can put you in the, well, this is now officially the almost done box. Let's see who else I can use. Probably should put Sudowoodo in my party, because it is the strongest Shadow Pokemon that I have at this point. And the strongest Pokemon, period, that I have at this point, actually. No, I'm not taking Espeon or Umbreon out of the party. I'm just rearranging them a little bit. And I don't think I'm going to be using many other Pokemon here. So after I save, there's one more thing I want to do before I leave this town. So I'll see you in a bit for that. So, what's this one more thing that I have to take care of in Pyrite Town? I think we'll actually be seeing a cutscene first. But I want to get my Pokemon organized before I do this. There's one battle that I want to take on. Something that I should just quickly mention though, now that Mirror B has been defeated, Pyrite Colosseum is now accepting normal challenges, but I would highly recommend not doing them at this point in the game. The levels are in the low 50s, and even on the unevolved Pokemon you'll be seeing for most of the early rounds, that's still not really strong enough for you to beat at this point in the game, so I'd recommend leaving that until later. Oh, but hey, Fatina's actually outside of her fortune-telling place, so let's see. Well, that's because Mirror B has been defeated. They're totally not with us. Don't look at me like that. Well, the location of the gear earlier certainly did. Okay, so we've got a location that we should probably be going to. We are already meeting Misty Jr.'s grandparents. So, going north is going to be our next destination. And we find out that her grandpa was a famous trainer when he was young. So we'll probably know something, but before we leave town, I want to battle Kale. So Kale gets progressively stronger as you go through the game, and he's actually a pretty good source of training, especially in his later incarnations, but it's time to fight Kale again. And as you'll see, well, he has a Snubble now. I'm pretty sure he didn't have that before, but his Ralt has now evolved into Curlier. And more of his Pokemon have evolved too, so I just wanted to show off this battle mainly. Snubble is kind of an interesting Pokemon. It's one that kind of radically changes in concept when it evolves. Okay, Intimidate's going to be bad for Meditite. And you've Trace Synchronize. I should be wary of statusing you. Should I set up Reflect? Oh yeah, Snubble, of course, is not Fairy-type in this generation. It's normal, so just bear that in mind. And let's... I really want High Jump Kick. That would have been effective against that Snubble. Back when Past Me recorded this, he wouldn't have known that Snubble would become Fairy-type in a later generation, so his first instinct would have been to use High Jump Kick on a Snubble. Snubble and Gramble are really interesting in their type change, because moves that used to be super effective on them became not very effective when they changed types. Okay, that's interesting. Imprison actually did something, which means that I must share a move with it, and I'm guessing that move is Confusion, which is really bad, as it means that I can't use my strongest move. It's probably Confusion. Like, I'm positive it's Confusion. And Meditite also has Confusion, so we've both been sealed on that move. Imprison in the right circumstances can be a very interesting move, especially, like, I feel like it's a bit underrated in, like, VGC or something. Imprisoning Protects can potentially be devastating. The problem is you have to waste a move slot and imprison yourself. And also 3 other moves that you hope are common among Pokemon you face, but since most Pokemon in double battles competitively will have Protect anyway, it's not really much of a loss to be using up one of your moves on Protect. And goodbye, Curlier. Hyper Mode Shadow Rush from Pure Power Meditite is going to hurt a lot. And hey, your Seedot's evolved. Nuzleaf is a bit more interesting, and not just because of being the mascot of Nuzlocke Comics. Nuzleaf has some pretty cool moves. I'm not sure, like, I think back in Gen 3, Nuzleaf was one of the only Pokemon that learned Extra Sensory by level up. Extra Sensory is kind of a weird move because of the way that its description implies that it's, like, overloading a Pokemon by giving them a power they're not supposed to have. I'm not really sure how it's meant to work, but it has a pretty weird animation. But now that we've got a Nuzleaf on the field, which is Grass Dark, I've just regained High Jump Kick, and this is going to be fun. Oh, you think Harden will save you? Think again. Although you are a couple of levels higher than me. Well, not Strength. Confusion doesn't really seem to be working. Oh! That was close. Yeah, I was worried for a moment that would have carried me before I got a chance to try out my new High Jump Kick. Let's see. And Bite is also not very effective against Snubble. Come on, High Jump Kick. Come on, 1-hit KO. Not a 1-hit KO. Yeah, Meditite will definitely get a lot stronger when it evolves. And at lower levels, pure power doesn't have that much of an impact, because doubling a fairly low attack status. Huh, you kind of showed mercy on me for a second. And you flinch from bite, that's lucky. I should probably get Meditite out of here, or am I going to just flat out heal? I should probably restock my healing items soon, now I think about it. Yeah, no, I probably should eliminate this Snubble, seeing as the Nuzleaf is underground anyway, so I wouldn't be able to high... In fact, if I did high jump kick it, I would miss and take the crash damage, which would be really bad because it's super effective, so I'd be taking a lot of crash damage. His Marchop still hasn't evolved yet, though. Still might be a pretty big threat to Umbreon, though. Speaking of Umbreon, I hope you're targeting you're not targeting Umbreon. So Meditite still takes quite a bit of damage. Do I try confusing someone, or do I just switch out? Because I don't have the Imprison active anymore. Now, if I can get this Nuzleaf off the field, then Espeon doesn't have very many threats, unless that Marchop decides to attack it on the switch-in or something. Umbreon and Espeon acting as a tag team. The way they always should be, I guess. Oh, please don't miss. Oh, no, it missed. That's not good. So, yeah, crash damage in Gen 3. If you miss something that is weak to high jump kick, you're going to be taking a lot of damage in return, which is one of the only weaknesses of the move. Also, I found out that it actually has 85 power in this gen, not 90. For some reason, I thought it was 90. And I may have just sent... I don't even know what move that Marchop just used. Actually, I think that was Seismic Toss, wasn't it? Yeah, because it wasn't super effective, it wasn't not very effective, and it didn't... That would have been Seismic Toss. But anyway, well, actually, I hope this dig isn't heading for either of them, really, because Espeon would take a lot of damage, and Sudowoodo would take super effective damage. Actually, I'm hoping it hits Sudowoodo, because Sudowoodo has the defense to take this. Like I was saying, defense to take this. Although, as you can see there, Sudowoodo barely got much of its heart gauge up from being sent out into battle. It has a very high heart gauge since it belonged to a boss. But anyway, now that Nuzleaf is down, we have defeated Kale, and I will probably be abruptly cutting this episode, because next time, I want to leave heading to Agate Village for next time. So, for now, that'll be the end of this part. We've defeated Mirror B, and we have beaten Kale in a rematch. Next time, we will be meeting Mr. Junior's grandfather. So, I'll see you then.